Greetings. Today we're going to talk about, well, I guess I'm going to talk about um, what happens post Great Depression, right? So, Great Depression, stock market crashes. People don't really trust the economic system anymore. Everybody loses their money. Um, the government starts losing money because businesses lose money and banks start closing and everybody starts panicking. Everybody's dying because nobody's eating any food. Um, the Dust Bowl happens, right? So everybody starts leaving Oklahoma, um, and really just all of like the Middle Plains, not just Oklahoma. Um, and everybody hates Hoover. They're like, dude, Hoover, you're the worst president ever. Not true. Um, Remember, he didn't cause the Great Depression. It already happened. He just happened like he was elected in November of 1928, was sworn in January of 29, and then in October is when the stock market crashed. So everything was happening before him. So really, if you're going to blame someone, blame Calvin Coolidge. So just throw that out there. Um, Anyways, Hoover's not reelected. They're looking for someone else that's going to like bring us out of the depression, that's going to get us all hyped on life and going to fix it and get everybody a job again. Um, and FDR is elected. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Delano, not Eleanor, his wife, not, yeah, his wife's name is Eleanor, is Delano. Quick fun fact about the Roosevelts. So FDR married to Eleanor Roosevelt. Um, we already talked about Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt's president. He's the guy. He was governor of New York. And while he's giving a speech, he gets shot, and he's like, "Nah, that's fine. I'm gonna just keep going." Um, Teddy Roosevelt and Eleanor Roosevelt are fifth cousins, so they share a great 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 grandpa. Um, so her name was already Eleanor Roosevelt, so she didn't have to change her name when she got married. So like, no, they're whatever. They're related. Okay, they're fifth cousins. Franklin Roosevelt and Eleanor Roosevelt are fifth cousins. Um, Teddy Roosevelt, yeah, that's right. Ignore what I said before. Teddy Roosevelt is Eleanor Roosevelt's uncle. They are fifth cousins. So like it's legal. It's just weird, but whatever. He's president. When he's elected president, his like sole purpose as president is to get us out of the Great Depression. I mean, really, that's like all that he needed to do. We weren't fighting a war with anybody yet. We were just chilling. He just needed to fix the economy. That's all that he had to do. He does it, kind of. So first thing he does is he sets out his three goals for what he wants to have happen um, in this plan. He calls it the New Deal. Teddy Roosevelt had a thing called the Square Deal. The New Deal is our new attempt at fixing the economy. Okay. So here's three goals. First goal is to provide relief for the needy. Okay. Relief meaning like putting a band-aid on the issue, right? We're not solving the problem. We're just doing like a super quick little like, hey, you're hungry, here's a cheeseburger. Okay, so this first goal, this is like our the bread lines and the soup lines and the coffee and all of that stuff. That's in this first goal, this relief for the needy. He's not fixing it. It's just a like, shoot, we're all in a hot mess. Here's a quick little like band-aid sort of problem solve. Super short term, super quick, super easy for the government to do, but it doesn't really have any lasting impact. Okay. But you got to start somewhere, right? So it's just this quick, like, whoop, little bit of some help, and then everything's fine. Okay. So that's his first goal, to provide relief for the needy. The second goal is economic recovery. Economic recovery meaning economic system, right? Businesses are closed, people are unemployed, no money is revolving in our economic system. And he's like, well, I have to fix that some way. So his second goal, this economic recovery, is this idea of creating jobs. We'll look tomorrow at what, like how specifically he does that. But this idea of get people jobs, right? We've given them a cup of coffee, so they're like, hyped up and they're energized and they're ready to go. So step two, get them a job, right? Whether that's like bailing out companies that have closed, whether that's creating new jobs in some way, whether that's getting people back to college, it's doing something to get people employed, to boost their morale and to get them money and to get them like hyped on this whole American economy kind of deal. Okay. Thirdly, then is financial reform. We got to change the way our system works because clearly it doesn't, because it just failed, right? We had hyped ourselves up as like this really awesome country that can do whatever it wants to do, and we just won World War I, and we all like partied it up in the 20s, and women are showing their ankles and going on dates, and everything's great until the economy literally crashes, like the whole economy. So clearly something is not working. So he's like, well, after we've given them a cup of coffee, after we've given them a job, we need to change the way, reform the way our economy functions to make sure that this doesn't happen again. We need to like build in um, safety nets for if like a business starts to run out of money, we need to have something, some sort of like bailout, some sort of loan system. There needs to be something within the federal government to prevent another stock market crash. Okay, so there is three goals, right? Relief for the needy, that's the super quick, super short term, like boop, here you go, here's a cheeseburger and a cup of coffee, you're on your way. Okay, quick relief. Secondly, economic recovery. Now that you've had your cup of coffee, you're full, you got like, you know, a new suit, tie your own bow tie. Now that you can do that, great. Now here's a job, go do it, earn money, and slowly start like rebuilding your capital. And then thirdly is financial reform, right? We're going to change the way our economy works. People don't trust that old economy anyways because it failed on us. So we need to rebuild it in an effort to have it be successful. Okay, so those are his three goals. He does it. I mean, the first, right? We saw the pictures of the soup lines and bread lines. That's the relief for the needy. He does create a lot of new jobs. Like I said, we'll talk about that tomorrow. And then changing the way our economy functions. He does. He builds in a lot of like government systems in order to if there starts to be kind of like a fallout and people start to not trust the system, he's built in governmental like safety nets and barricades so that it doesn't completely fall. Okay, so those are his three goals: relief, recovery, reform. So three R's. Okay. So then how is he gonna do it? He has to like create laws, right? This is not something that's just gonna automatically like, oh, I'm FDR and the government's fixed because I'm the president. No, he's got to create new laws, new systems. He creates a lot. Two of them were deemed unconstitutional. Oops. But he does do a lot to create these new laws, these new organizations. He leaves some of it up to states' rights and says, hey, states, you can figure it out for yourself. But a lot of states need more help than others. So that's where the federal government steps in. The way that he does it, this is important, the way that he creates these new jobs and the way that he builds the economy back up is this idea of deficit spending. So spending, right, that's you spend money, you buy stuff, you invest stuff, you use your money in some capacity. Deficit spending, you're in a deficit, it means that you're in the negative, you don't have it, right? It's a shortage, there's not enough, it just doesn't exist. So this idea of deficit spending means that he / the federal government are spending money that they don't have. You can't do that. He does it. He does it by like creating all of these new jobs and then saying, oh shoot, we need money to pay all of the people. Hey, Europe, like, can we borrow some money? Because Europe, by this point, by like 1935, Europe's back on their feet for the most part. Granted, it's 4 years before Hitler takes over, but they've recovered from World War I enough to be able to loan us money. So we take some money from Europe. Inflation goes through the roof because we just start like printing money. We start doing stuff to kind of pretend that we have all this money. So we currently, like today in 2020, it's like $17 trillion in debt or some ridiculous number. Yeah, that was made worse by like, you know, from like 98 to today with, you know, fighting conflicts. They're not wars. But fighting overseas, like, yeah, military spending, all of that stuff does for sure, like, has increased our debt. But the reason that we're $17 trillion in debt is because of FDR. Did it get us out of the depression? Yeah. Did it put us into a forever like economic hole where we're going to constantly owe other countries money? Yeah. In the moment, great, saved the day. It was awesome. Big picture, not so much. Not as great. Okay. Yeah. So that's that. Short and simple. Okay. Immediate relief, get people jobs, change the way the system functions. You're gonna have to create laws. If you don't create a law, no one's gonna follow it, right? If you don't mandate that a company does something, they're not gonna do it because they don't want to, you know, create 10 new jobs if they don't have to. Also, you start spending money we don't have. Okay, don't do this. When you're an adult and you have a credit card, just because you have a credit card doesn't mean you should use it to buy things. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. Bad news. That's how debt happens. And you don't want to be $17 trillion in debt. There's your like life motivation. Don't be in debt. It's the worst. All right, so tomorrow we'll talk about specifics in what they did. Remember Thursday, I will open your assignment. It's due Saturday at 7 p.m. nighttime.